Welcome back. This is episode 20 of Spiritual Conversations with Carrie and Candace.
Hi
Today,
there.
we would like to do, and I'm Candace, and
I'm Carrie.
that's Carrie. You know what? We are separated in time by what, 3 hour
Three
difference.
hours, yeah. I'm
And
West Coast.
we're separated in distance. You're way on the
I'm the Pacific Ocean. You're the Gulf of
ocean,
Mexico.
and I'm at the Gulf of Mexico in Florida, but we have been so connected. And this is one thing I want to talk about today. It's our connections, but it's our connections to our animal friends. You know, some people say you shouldn't call them pets, but I've always called them pets, and they're just so precious. But we have a new member to my extended family. A precious little kitten is now part of my daughter's family. They have a dog named Loki, and so the kitten's name is Thor. And he's absolutely precious. And we're going to put a picture of him at the end of this video, so stay
So
tuned.
cute. The stripes are so precious.
Oh, Carrie, I don't know if I've told you this or not, but he's a product of a feral cat who apparently gave birth in a ditch and then took off. Someone found him. He was not even an hour old, and they took him to a vet. And the vet happens to live down the street. It's from my daughter Cassie, and she's one of her really good friends. They have raised this kitten on like an eyedropper to feed it, and now Thor is part of our family, and it's just so
No
nice.
wonder his name is Thor. Rah!
Right?
He's Thor.
He goes
I
like,
got this.
he goes like, he's so tiny. He's precious.
Oh, my precious. So animals are a huge part of my life, as you know, too. I've got three cats. Coda is 16 and she is a feral kitten. She was from a feral cat. And 16 years old, that thing is going strong, healthy as can be. So my dog Marley, she's a white golden. I'm going to put her picture on too. She's just like the love of my life. And animals are family members. They really are.
Yes,
That's,
yes.
especially when you have a dog, you can't just leave a dog when you travel. So she's gone ski trips and camping trips, and she's just part of our life. And now she's 11 and she does have hip dysplasia and she's slowing way down. But the fact that she's a white golden, you don't see the dogs get the white hair. You don't see it. She still looks like a puppy. But I know she's getting older and I know that day is coming. They call it the Rainbow Bridge. And so I had to really think about this recently because I've lost my sister recently and, trying to touch on how I feel about everything when you're staying present and you're always happy. It's like, okay, I can't get down to sadness, but I'm thinking, no, for my dog now. It's like, really? So I kind of was sitting with my dog one day, petting her and just wondering, and I think communicating with her. And I had this just message come through me. As much as I'm overthinking her end one day, she's present every moment of every day.
Yes.
That dog does not know that there's going to be a day when she's going to stop breathing. She doesn't care about that. None of my animals do. They are just present, living, loving their moments with their people and their humans. And that's all there is to it. There's going to be a day when she's going to close her eyes and her body's aching more and she's going to slip out. And then that day, she's on the other side, wagging her tail, no more pain, happy as can be. They're waiting for me, as she always will be.
Right.
And it's like, I know that. So I'm so glad I have this moment with her because I was thinking, how am I going to deal with the loss of my dog? And I do know what's going to be hard for me is every moment I open that front door, I don't care if I went to the mailbox and came back. She's like, oh, wait, Mom, I'm going to go get you a toy. And she goes and gets me a toy and she gives me the toy and it's a squeaky. It's like that energy is going to be so hard to not be around. It's animal energy. And as you know, all animals are energy. They all give us so much. So it's going to be hard, but I think I want to help others realize that I had a cat, Cheetah, my favorite cat ever. Sorry, Coda, I love her too. But to this day, I'll be sleeping in my bed and I'll feel I've got three cats, my cat walking up next to me and snuggling, and I'll go to pet the cat and it's not there. It's Cheetah.
Right. Right.
So they're still with us. It's just like humans. We're spirit. We're all spirit. So they will pass, but they're better and they're fine. And so it's just so hard because dogs just their life expectancy is so much shorter. It's hard.
It is hard. But you know what's beautiful about animals is they live right here. I mean, even a squirrel, if you think about a squirrel and winter's coming, they don't go in their brain and check out, okay, let's get my little planner out here and I should throw away these nuts. No, it's instinct. They just behave. They're in the present moment. They do what they're supposed to do. And
Yeah.
and we could really learn from that as we, you know, when humans are born, we can't communicate. We don't have language. And I remember, I have two children, and as a mother, especially a new mother, it's like, oh, I can't wait till they can talk so I know what's wrong. Why are you crying? But what happens is once language starts to develop, first of all, it's great because, yes, now they can communicate. But what happens is their center from which they operate leaves the heart center and goes up to the head center. And the difference between people and animals is the animals keep it right here. It's their gut, it's their instinct. They don't worry about what happened yesterday or what's going to happen tomorrow. They are present right now. That instinctual nature, we could learn so much from them. We were talking before we started recording, and Carrie, I had told Carrie I went to a program a couple of years ago on animal communication. Now, what's interesting about the program was before it happened, all of my pets, there we go, pets again, came in dreams over a couple nights. I mean, I even had fish that I used to have come to me. My dogs, my horses, hamsters, I used to have hamsters, and they communicated with me, and it was wonderful to know that they are still around. And Carrie, you had the episode with your cat jumping on you in
Yes. Yep.
in spirit
Yeah.
because they
Yeah.
are still around.
Yes. Yeah. And so that's the whole thing. It's like animals, they are part of our family. And I've heard stories of people so they've seen life on the other side of the veil. That's what I'm looking for. And like those of us like me who are animal lovers, it's like I was walking through a park yesterday and this squirrel came up to me, touched my pant leg, and I have pictures of him like looking up and I'm like, I don't have any nuts. I've got a big bag of nuts here. But it's like I have loved animals all my life and I've helped animals, I've protected animals, and it's like the ones like me too. It's like when they see the other side, the entire zoo is there waiting for you saying,
Yes,
we love you, thank you for what you've given us, just like you. And fish and hamster, who would imagine they're so insignificant? No, they're not. They're little things too. They're little living things too that have just as much spirit that any other animal. So yeah.
and during one of the programs I attended at Monroe Institute, it was a program called Lifeline where we actually retrieved spirits who had people who had passed away, but they hadn't quite made it to the other side. I remember I was working with a little boy. He was 9, maybe 10 years old, and he told me that, I mean, he was confused. He had been sledding and he apparently hit a tree and died. Yet he had not gone all the way over, but he was hesitant, very hesitant, because his mother always said, don't go with strangers. So what happened surprised me. This border collie came up. Now, I don't know whether, and this is in spirit, I don't know whether, I don't think it was the little boy's dog, and it was not a dog I've ever had. So this spirit guide, I guess, in the form of an animal, a border collie, came up and he went over to the little boy. And the little boy started hugging him and kissing him and petting him. And then that made him feel comfortable. So, using that dog as the intermediary, I was able to bring that little boy with me and the dog and help him in his final transition. He made it all the way over. But I could not have done it without that dog. Now,
Yeah.
since then, also, Carrie, I've gotten some messages about dogs and well, about animals, but specifically about dogs. And I don't think I've shared this with you either,
No.
but the dogs have told me that they're part of a soul group, just like people are, and the animals can actually change groups. A cat can become a dog, but it's not like at the flip of a coin. There's this process. But the animal I was talking to was a dog, and I think it was like the whole group, soul group of dog, and they said that they could actually come back as another dog. Now, I'm not talking about a dog being born into a new litter. A dog can actually come back immediately in the form of another adult dog. If that adult dog is okay with it, they can actually become a walk-in. And I know someone who that's happened. Their dog passed away in a short period of time. This other dog, just like theirs, showed up. No collar. They couldn't identify the owner. They put articles in the paper and never found the owners. But they took the dog home with him, and I don't know specifically what it was, but the dog engaged in like two or three different behaviors that were odd, but it was just like their dog who had passed. He used to do this, and so did this dog. And they kept saying, I know this is that dog reincarnated. So when I got this message, I realized, oh, yeah, they really do. They really do.
And I have heard stories about that too, like somebody who has lost their dog, and it was like they're so devastated. And then somewhere out of the blue, this other animal shows up, and it's like, doesn't look like it, but the behavior is like, how do you know? So I think maybe they just know their human wasn't ready to lose them.
Right.
And I've always said to people, like, dogs have to live a shorter life than we do because they can't handle losing us. It's hard enough for us to lose them, but it's like my dog, if I was to pass, it would devastate my dog. And that's why it's like, I will never have, the older I get, it's like, I'm not going to have anything that I will leave behind because it's like, they can't handle it. So
Right.
they have to live shorter lives. But I think those dogs probably came back because their human wasn't ready to lose them.
Right.
And they just knew that human had to have some peace with that.
And
Wow.
even if they don't come back in the form of another animal, they're still with us. You experience that with your cat.
To this day.
You can walk and then out of the corner of your eye, catch something that happens. And quite often or with me in the past when I was younger, it would be a pet. It would be that dog, he just zooms right in front of you, or the cat that just jumps up. So when that happens and all of a sudden you get this feeling that, okay, who was that? Take a moment to say thank you. And acknowledge what it is. Is this your dog? Is this your cat? Tell them thank you. And that increases the connection that you have with them and increases the likelihood that you'll have another experience like that. Because we're all energy. We're all spirit.
Yeah.
And just because you've dropped your physical form or the animal has dropped their physical form doesn't mean they cannot continue to connect with us. And they do.
So the first picture you're going to see is going to be Loki and Thor. And then the
Yes.
white golden will be Marley. And before we close, guess what? Candace, I'm going to get you a kitten for Christmas.
Oh,
I think Candace needs a kitten. What do you think, guys? All right.
oh,
So
thank you.
thank you so much. But love your animals, but just know that they too are going to slip to the other side. It's like walking into another room, and it's going to be the energy I know that I'm going to miss of my dog. But until then, I'm going to walk her every day until she doesn't want to walk anymore.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So thank you everyone once again for joining us. Look at the pictures. They're adorable.
That's right. And subscribe. See you later.